everyone. This is Stephanie in the Secret Place. Glad you're here. Today's short reading is from The Wisdom of Wilderness by Gerald May, and the foreword is by Parker Palmer. You know I love him. I hope you've read some of his books by now. This is a short passage, and I want to talk today about the wilderness and wildness. In our modern, highly developed culture, nearly all of us are estranged from our true nature, and consequently from the nature around us. From the time we are little children, we are taught to set ourselves apart from all natural inclinations so that we can control, modify, and restrain them. We have learned to be suspicious, even afraid, of any form of wildness. Some of us are unabashedly destructive of our environment. Others want to protect, manage, and be good stewards of our resources. Still others of us conjure up idealized images of nature, a pristine paradise when left untouched by human hands. What none of us seems to want, what we all resist, is to admit that we are inevitably, intimately, and irrevocably part of nature rather than apart from it. Now, this is one of the moments in this book where Gerald May is talking about the wildness of nature. Most of the book he talks about the wilderness, and that's part of the wildness of nature as well. Part of the kind of wildness that God created when he created this world. Wild in that everything is not predictable. Like everything, there's not a formula for everything. Everything's not black and white. Everything can't be managed meticulously and carefully the same time every way because you're always going to have the same outcome. That's not how life goes. There's this uncertainty factor and inability to predict. In fact, so much of what we do in our relationships comes from the desire to conquer uncertainty and reduce it at least, and predict the future. Like, how is this going to go for me if I forgive this person, or how is this going to go in our relationship if I let this happen? We want to predict and control. Well, May is talking about, and that's what I wanted to talk about today too. He's talking about the fact that we're like, nature is not just out there. The wildness and of the wilderness is not just out there somewhere separate from us. We're a part of this world. We're a part of creation. We're connected to all of it. And this idea that the wilderness, walking through a wilderness, that's part of the wildness, can be devastating. We want to get away from it because it's, well, a wilderness isn't always a desert, but it's a place where we're lost, where there's no real markers to help us find our way. There's no real companions. We're out there feeling lost. And he's talking about like not being afraid of that, which is so counterintuitive, isn't it? It's really counterintuitive because of course we're going to be, most of us would be afraid of that. Like, how long do I want to be out there alone in the wilderness without a car, without a phone, without food, without water? Who knows without what else? And how long will I last in the wilderness without anybody else, right? We need others. But I want to like talk about the wilderness today from the perspective of that spiritual wilderness. When you are out there feeling lost, you're not really lost. Maybe you're sitting in your house and you're having a nice lemonade, right? Or you're in your car having a nice Chick-fil-A frosted lemonade. Uh-oh, you know what I'm thinking about today. But you're out there and you know where you are. You're anchored in time and space. You're not alone. There are people all around you, but you still feel lost. You still feel like you're in the wilderness. Like there's something tugging and nagging at you in your heart, in your life, that you just don't know where you're going. Maybe there's confusion. Maybe there's not. Maybe there's just kind of an absence of purpose, a feeling of not being grounded and walking around, not knowing who your people are, not knowing who's really with you, who's not knowing if God is with you. It doesn't paint a pretty picture, this wilderness, right? But there can be some beautiful things in the wilderness. Have you ever been out there? Let's even say you've just watched a movie or a television series where you might live in the city, but this is the only way you get to see the mountains and the wildflowers that grow, that kind of move and sway in the wind. And it's gorgeous. And it's just beautiful. You don't get to see that picture of beauty or experience that picture of beauty unless you're out there, unless you're out there and have experienced it. There are many things that are beautiful in the wilderness. One of them is, I'm talking about the wilderness now of that lost feeling. And before you say, wait a second, and before you turn this off, like you think I'm saying two different things, I am, because there's a push and pull here. There's maybe what I want to call a balance there. The wilderness has some gifts for us if we embrace the wilderness. And that feeling of being lost and not knowing where we are can open the door and invite us, if you will, into seeking God in a way and finding the Lord in a way that we may never have found him without the wilderness. That feeling of being alone and really needy is scary. And sometimes that can just usher us into a prayerful, sincere, authentic way of being that longs for God, and he will meet us there in the wilderness. Sometimes he waits till we're in that lost state, in that state of wandering around inwardly. Now I'm talking about wandering around lost and confused. He waits till those moments to reveal himself, because he waits for us to cry out to him, because we wouldn't cry, we wouldn't reach out, we wouldn't seek him if we weren't feeling needy. And in the 21st century here, I mean, if you have a job and you have a roof over your head, you may have a lot of other needs, but basic needs are met for most people in this side of the world and in this day, in this age. And so it's kind of easy to be distracted and filled up and believe an illusion that we're fine when we're really not, when we're really lost in the wilderness. If you're finding yourself lost or feeling lost in a spiritual wilderness today, maybe turn the idea around and see it as a gift that God could use to lead you into a deeper relationship with him. I'm not saying it's fun to feel that way. It's not fun to feel lost and alone. It's a terrible feeling. And there's other things to do there besides just praying and talking to God. Find your people. Find the others. I have a friend, a colleague from New York who has a podcast called Team Human, and that's his motto: find the others. It's a great little podcast about how important it is to maintain the human connections and the human faculties that are a gift to us in every human. And he just says, find the others. Find the others who feel that way too. There are others. So I'm saying the same to you. There are others who want to know you. There are others who don't want to be alone. There are others who love community and good friendship and working on projects together. Find them. Go out and find them. But if you feel lost and alone, let that feeling open the door to cry out to God, because he is there and he wants to meet you. He wants to meet you in that lonely place. He will meet you. Hope you have a great day. I hope you're glad you came, because I'm sure glad you came. Until next time, have a wonderful day, a great week. This is Stephanie in The Secret Place.